Welcome back to the Extraordinary Times. I'm Jeremy.
I'm AJ.
And yes, my chin's bare. Get over it. Move on. So, first up today, we go back to a story that I covered while I was all alone for a couple of weeks.
Sorry. Vacation was good.
I'm not. It was fantastic, and you had fun, so that's okay. But when I talked about Flame and Stuxnet, those computer programs that were mysteriously unidentified, but definitely lurking around to cause Iran to have a really bad day, apparently someone who spoke to the Washington Post under conditions of anonymity has confirmed that the United States and Israel have teamed up in the way the U.S. and Israel do to combat terrorism and bad people, and have thusly admitted to the U.S. constructing both Stuxnet and Flame. And yeah, well, that's all fine and good, but we already knew that.
Yeah, pretty well. At least we have confirmation now.
And, of course, on to science.
Science. Moon science. All right. I don't know if you know much about the dust on the moon, but it's pretty freaking weird. Called regolith. You kick it up and it floats a lot longer than it should, and it sticks to everything strangely, without being sticky. It's just weird stuff. And they kind of figured out probably why. It turns out these little glass bubbles, I guess you call them, little beads, they knew that it was in the regolith for a long time, but scientists have recently discovered that inside those beads is not gas or air like they originally thought, but things called nanoparticles. Basically really, really small particles that do some really crazy stuff like, well, stick to things and are electromagnetic so they can float above the surface of the moon and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely crazy. If you want more details, you want to get more sciencey, check out the link below.
It's Time Magazine. You know it's good.
Oh, yeah. So, one step further.
One step further to what? Moving on. So, Yoko Ono, in case you didn't know, was once married to the great John Lennon until, he died and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, well, she apparently is still doing drugs that she did in the 60s. According to this, and this. Because she has just opened up an art exhibit in London, and yeah, the art is very similar to those images that we just showed you from that art gallery.
Yes, that was piles of dirt, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah. So it's not supposed to make sense. Art is to be interpreted by anyone observing it, and hopefully somebody understands it.
I'm interpreting her as high.
Super high.
All right, so we've talked about the TSA
over and over and over. I think they call that ad nauseum.
I actually recently went through the airport and got to go through the TSA. Fortunately, I literally just missed the full body scanner routine thing, and I didn't have to get groped or anything, so...
You didn't get either one?
I got so freaking lucky. Literally, the person in front of me was body scanned, and the person behind me was groped.
He looks ordinary, folks.
Go figure. Anyway, no, see, that would get me groped. There's this woman who was, well, groped rather inappropriately when going through the TSA checkpoint. And, here and there and bad stuff. Well, it turns out she used to be a TSA agent. She knows regulations, and she knows that wasn't procedural. So she went to the supervisor, who was a woman, and to show her exactly how it felt, groped her.
Surprise, groped. No, not as bad as she was groped.
Right.
Allegedly. Well, apparently she's being prosecuted by the TSA, and
TSA says they follow procedures, but I'm going with the woman on this one. She would know.
In the court of law in outside of Fort Myers, Florida, we will see.
Yeah.
And now, first photos are surfacing of our beloved Angelina Jolie in her debut as Maleficent right here. Oh, yeah. So apparently somebody had the bright idea after watching Wicked. If you don't know what Wicked is, go Google it. But after watching Wicked, they decided, hey, you know who else's bad guy probably has a good story behind her? Sleeping Beauty. So they are releasing this new wonderful live-action movie. So I have high hopes. I'll be honest.
It looks good.
I have this little twinge of liking Disney things, just little, not the least of which being that little one who joins us so often. So I'm actually looking forward to this. They're going to release it in 2014, allegedly. So, you know, if the world's still around by then.
Maleficent is actually my favorite Disney villain of all time. Well, villain, really, of all time. She always has been. Just always, I don't know, something about it. So this should be awesome.
She's fiendish. It's true.
Well, there's been a lot of hecklers for Mitt Romney recently. You know, they've been following him around and putting up signs and 1% to 99% and all
Pay
that
your
fun
fair
stuff.
share, you rich white guy.
Whatever, you know, family
He's
who earn their
rich,
money.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's okay.
I'm
Either
a
way,
little jealous.
speaking of rich, a lot of these protesters have actually now admitted to being paid to protest. Anywhere his reports are from $7.25 minimum wage, I'm guessing, to $17 an hour.
You don't get to see that poster every day. I do.
Right. Either way, this kind of shows, you know, the Democratic Party is distancing themselves. You know, they're not ours. It's for probably good jobs now group, but still, I mean, this is just in bad taste for me. This is nah.
Yeah, the idea of people coming out and, oh, we're a grassroots movement and blah, blah, blah. And it turns out they're actually employing people to do, you know, the picketing and yelling and whatever and having feelings about something. Yeah, I'd have pretty strong feelings if you paid me $17 an hour, I'll be honest.
Hey, Romney's already stimulating job growth.
Aww. So we go from talking about Good Jobs Now, the community activism group, to a group by the name of Voter Participation Center. Now, if you haven't yet been regaled by a piece of mail from the Voter Participation Center, count yourself lucky. I personally have right here in my hand, I'm not going to show you my address or the name of my late, she's not even really related to me, my stepfather's first wife, who died of cancer. But this is addressed to her. And I'm going to show you nice and up close so you know what I'm talking about. The Voter Participation Center, Brazos Street, Austin, Texas. They sent out, now that is physical evidence that they sent it out to a dead woman of 7+ years. They also have sent it out to a dog in Virginia who just this year would have turned 19 if it hadn't expired 2 years ago.
They sent voter registration to a dead dog.
Yeah, exactly. So
Name Mozart.
Name Mozart, which is cool. I actually would like to name a child Mozart one day, ladies. But you know, it's things like this that incense me, enrage me about the political process. Where on the website itself for voterparticipation.org, they have on their webpage right now, the real story is 73 million unregistered Americans, not Mozart the dog, as a legitimate blog post, them having an actual opinion about the fact that they are sending mailers to register dead people and pets to vote.
How many of those 73 million Americans are dead people and or pets and or dead pets?
Really? Honestly. How
numbers are a bit skewed.
Many? Yeah, and they buy these lists from vendors, and apparently they use advanced technology to scrub them and make sure that there's nobody in there who's dead or not a human.
Or, you know, at least not a citizen.
Or not a citizen, maybe. Maybe citizens who are dead but are having their information used by non-citizens.
There we go.
Is that perhaps it? Maybe? Hope you're hoping? Oh, right. Anyways, so these, my friends, are the kind of people who are voting for our current president, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's their agenda. That's their goal. If you would like to combat it, well, right, senators, have them vote for things like the Voter ID Act, where you actually have to show identification to vote at your polling place, in your county, in your state, in your country. That matters so much because, yeah, it's a huge problem. So be active and, be aware, as we always say. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jeremy.
I'm AJ.
Like it over here if you enjoyed it. Favorite over here if you really enjoyed it. Subscribe to us and pass us to your friends. Please, we love you. And we will see you tomorrow.